and then there was some, I don't want to say wife swapping, but there might have been, but there was some stuff we found out later as adults. There might have been some of
Some
that
hanky
interesting, some
panky.
hanky panky going on, some divorces and remarriages with other people and shit. Um,
That
yeah,
that
so
happened that happened in my own in just in my own class. The people, um, that I was in high school with, e Hello.
hello.
Welcome to Grandma's Not Right.
Grandma's not right.
Grandma's Not Right. I'm a
No,
grandma. I'm Cheryl.
I'm Grandma and I'm Wendy, aka Bodoo. That could
Oh,
be
do you?
talked about in another show. But anyway,
I think you
yes.
should tell us why you're called Bodoo.
Oh, you want me to tell you right now? Okay.
Yes.
So when my granddaughter was little, well, before she was born, one of the gymnastics parents was a dad. We were all out to dinner after competition, and I just told everybody I'm going to be a grandma. And then he said, "Hey, man, so you're going to be G Dub, for Grandma Wendy, G Dub." And I go, "Dude, I
G-Dub.
love that. I love that." His name was Kurt. Him and his wife, they were just cool cats. They're like probably my daughter's age. And I was like, "Dude, I love that." So when she started getting older, I was like, "G Dub, G Dub." And she kept saying, "Bud, Bud." And it eventually was like, "Bodoo." I'm like, "How do you get that out of G-dub?" And so I thought, well, I'm not gonna keep trying to force it, so I said, "I guess my name's Bodoo." And then it
Bodoo.
just got crazier and crazier, and it was Bodo, all kinds of things, and I said, "No, I'm gonna fucking spell it like Beaudeux, like Badoo, so it's like good too
Bodoo.
in
That's
French."
awesome.
And I can't wait for the day when she's old enough that some kid, like, sees that, the spelling or whatever, and goes, "Oh, is your grandma French?" No, she's just a real little
Not
piece of work.
right.
No, she's not right.
She's just not
Anyway,
right.
so yeah, I am Bodoo. And I love it when,
Bodoo.
like, her kindergarten said, "Oh, Bodoo is here." And I'm like, that's our family, though. No one's named grandma or grandpa
Yeah.
except for, like, my mom's great grandma, and she has a couple other, but mine is just called great grandma. And then her other ones are like great so and so by name, or great grandpa so and so. She had a great grandpa Carl and he passed. But she's got like 9 grandparents because of all the different, like I said before, different, marriages and whatever. But
Right.
everyone's got a special name, like all the grandparents. None of us we want to be all unique. Like, what's happening with that? We'll have to do that for a future podcast about,
I know, right?
I don't know, being a grandparent. Probably we could probably do a whole hour on that shit.
Yep. We
All
could.
right. So how was your week, sister?
Um, let's see. Well, um, not much to report other than um a heat wave out here, but we live in the desert, so
I
when it's
was
hot,
gonna
it's hot.
say.
Um, but I didn't believe it was as hot as it said it was because it didn't feel like that to me, but apparently it was 104 this morning, and I'm
Wow.
like, it doesn't feel like 104, but I guess.
Did you go
Um,
outside?
I did. I had to go outside several times. I drove to Ipah
I'm
today,
sorry.
so
I used to fuck with you because when I first moved with you, I goes, "Fuck this place, this desert." And you're like, "I love the desert." And I'd say, "You loved your air conditioning car, going to your air conditioning house, to your air
yeah,
conditioned work.
yeah,
I love the desert." No, I used to, but you know what? When I was at, well, I've been, as a kid, oh, I want to go to Havasu. I want to live here. And it's all well and good when you're at the lake or you're on a boat or
yeah.
someone has a pool. But the minute you get older and you have kids, you have to shop in Lake Havasu in the middle of whatever
Right,
summer.
right.
And you're like, fuck this. I can't deal with this 100 and whatever
It's
degrees getting kids out
it
of car seats and go to the store. Fuck that.
it's hard enough even in the Yucaipa area. Even in the Inland Empire, it's
Right, right,
hot.
right. It is
It's
hot.
hot and humid,
Why do you
and
think that is,
you
Cheryl?
know,
Why is it so hot so much more now than it used to be?
I don't know. The
Yeah,
weather has
nobody
changed
seems to
quite a
know.
bit.
Oh.
It's a mystery, isn't it?
I think the Earth might be going through changes, but they're not man-made changes. It's just going through changes, kinda like the Ice Age. The Earth is just going through something right now.
Just going through something.
Kinda like the economy, it's just going through, just hold on, just do your part.
It'll get better.
Gas
It'll
prices
turn
are a little
around.
high, but gas prices are a little high, but stick with it, do your
That's right.
part, do your part.
That's
Anyway, we
right.
don't need to get into that bullshit, but
Yeah. What what are they gonna do when they people do their part and say, "I'm just gonna take public transportation," or, "I'm gonna ride on the hydrogen buses," or, "I'm gonna, go buy a propane-powered car or
yeah,
a hybrid electric car."
right.
So it's not like they can force us to use gasoline,
Wait, wait, wait.
you know?
Oh, excuse me, and this might be used later in the episode, we could talk about it again, but people in Ukaipa have taken to driving fucking golf carts, because there's a golf course, which we will get to later in our town, that hasn't been here that long, and people are driving the golf carts in the fucking road like they're a car.
Yeah.
I'll get to that later because 'cause I'm disgusted by some of the
I saw
behavior
that
of these
today
god dang golf cart people.
on Bryant Street. When I was driving in, I went to visit mom, and when I was
Yeah.
driving in, I was on Bryant Street, and somebody was in a golf cart. I'm like and there's traffic behind him. I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
If you don't have a license plate,
It
mother
was a young
lover,
guy. It was like, 30-year-old guy. People,
people who are stupid people are the
w
dumbest people.
people in the world.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
My goodness. So, how did your week go?
you know what? My week was pretty good, but today today was the shit day.
Was it
Last night was kinda, but let's just say some work stuff happened. I really messed up at work. It was probably my fault. Could have been another girl's fault. I already told you about it earlier. I can't say much about it because of my I just some things you can't talk about, but yeah, I did something that caused something a little domino effect. It was an innocent mistake on my part. Let's just say we're lucky the fire department wasn't called. I'll just say that in our
so
kitchen at school. And so yeah, I felt really bad, but my coworkers, man, they got my back, dude. I mean, just, I was really upset about it, almost crying. And they know I don't cry. So if I start crying, they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. And they're like,
right.
it's okay. They made me feel good, but you
Yeah.
know me, man, I beat myself up. And then before I came and sat up like a wild person for my setup here, which is when people saw my setup, they go, "What the fuck? Really? How much time do you need for that goddamn setup?" So I went to the doctor because I was out of medicine, much to the disappointment and scolding from my one of my offspring. I won't say who, but I didn't realize how much I was using my inhaler until I didn't have that inhaler for almost a whole
Yeah.
month because I ran out. I'm all, whatever. And so I went today, and so I am going to get a referral for a lung function test because I've been having problems. And somebody in one of my bands is having problems with breathing issues, and I've been watching this person going, "Oh my gosh." It breaks my heart. I'm like, they have to have oxygen and stuff, and they're playing their instrument while they're having their oxygen, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, that's gonna be me." I know, and I joke with them. I said, "Well, I'm right behind you," because I was telling the doctor how it feels like there's moisture in my lungs, not phlegm, like moisture, almost like when we used to have those smog alerts. And so somebody mentioned to me that, well, you have chronic bronchitis, which is COPD pretty much. And, so it's pretty much inevitable that I'm going to struggle. And I know that. But when it hits you or something happens, you're like, fuck, man. And I was supposed to go in for a lung function test like 2 years ago, but I never went. And I told the doctor today, I said, I swear I'm going to go. I said, because I know before it didn't bother me. I'm like, "Oh, okay, a lung function test, but I'm fine. Sure, I'll take this inhaler. Yeah, maybe it'll make me feel better." but now this year, it's just really hit me hard that, it's not going away like it usually does. She goes, "It sounds like your asthma's, not in control," which I had exercise-induced asthma as a kid, so I don't ever consider myself, "Oh, I have asthma," because that was something I did when I was a kid and I had athletics, but it's catching up, so I guess it's like, "Well, it never goes away, dumbass. It's still there." My mom didn't say dumb or our mom didn't say dumbass to me, but she might as well. But, anyway, so it's
Anyway, so
that
it's
and
that,
then my
then my
back.
back.
I'm still have
I'm still
numbness in my
having
leg after 2 years of pinching that disc and stuff, and it was through work and workman's comp, but I don't wanna go through workman's comp. I'd rather just have my regular doctor just tell me what the fuck's wrong because they didn't give me any answers.
Yeah.
So,
So they're gonna check it out for you?
yeah, I had X-rays today, so I'll have a word. But anyway, it's not I'm just such a procrastinator, and I didn't even get the chance to tell her that I have ringing in the ears. I'd like to get that checked out, and, I was really close to asking her for the as Trump calls it, the fat chat, because I'm
Bitch.
at the end of my rope with my emotional eating, but maybe I'll give it till the end of this year. Maybe this year will be the year. Maybe this year will be the year I get my shit together and actually lose weight, so
Maybe we should be accountability partners. You for me on
accountability
these.
buddies.
Yeah, you can be my partner on me doing my strength and conditioning to build my muscle back up, and
I
I'll be
would
your
love that.
accountability. And then I can be yours on you know, how you're what I mean, whatever your goals are. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love that because I tried to be that for somebody in my life and it's just there's there's just not enough enthusiasm for me of the willingness and so I don't try hard either. So I think I just yeah. So I think that's a good idea. I like it. We'll
we'll
talk.
talk about it. All
Okay.
right.
I was going to tell you too.
Yeah.
Last night I went somewhere at an event and well first off let me start by saying this. I really realize sometimes my place in society because well first of all living up in this growing up in our little small town like there's people that have money and some who don't but it's we grew up in what middle class we were borderline middle class dancing on the line of lower class
Yeah.
and we've talked about some of this before but I went to the polo I can't think it's called the polo club or something in Indio. I went to an event last night and there was a band there and everything, and it was just, uh, I just realized, man, it just wasn't my I could I don't know how to explain it, like, it was like going to a casino that was when you go to a casino, it's built for everyone, like, you could have money or not have money, but it could be super posh, but us poor people, let's say, or whatever, could walk through it and experience it and go, "Wow." Well, this place was just fucking, to me, super posh as hell, and it was like a retirement community, and I thought,
Yeah.
"This isn't for me." Like, I don't wanna go where there's little cushy little pickleball things and spas and this and that. Oh, I forgot to tell you earlier on that too. I was sitting somewhere and I heard singing in one of the rooms, but I didn't wanna go check it out because who am I? They're gonna be like, "Why are you in this room?" Somebody was singing, and it was like I don't remember what song it was from a musical, and they just sang, like, about 16 bars from a musical, and I'm like, "What?" Randomly, and I was dying to know who "You
What
have a
is that? What are
chorus
you
in here? Is this some kind of
doing?
choral club at this retirement community?" And they were really good, it wasn't even just like, a bunch of people singing like shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I just my point was, it just reminded me of that, and then, about how the other half lives, and I have other things too, but I saw when I was driving down the boulevard on the marquee, what do you it's not the old marquee we used to call it. It's a marquee that has moving
It's like a
pictures on it. What do I wanna call it?
yeah, like a digital billboard kinda
Thank
thing?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. A digital billboard at our high school. I mean, that's high end for me, okay? That's only been up there for maybe 5 years, so, um, but they'll put, like, the kids' birthdays, "So and so turned 18,
Right.
whatever." And so there was a thing about the reunion, and I was like it was just funny. It said 1976 reunion, Inquire Within. And I went, God dang, 1976. And because, I was thinking back to when it was 1976, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Of course, living in this small town. I was 9 years old. You would have been what in high school already, 17 ish, 16, 17. Anyway, it just got me thinking. I don't know why that just it would put me on the rabbit hole to connecting our hometown, small hometown where I was. And then I went to that place last night and just thinking how even if I came into money, I don't think I'd ever live in a place like that. I'd spend my money a little bit differently. I'd rather get an old Victorian in like Redlands or somewhere and just spruce it up and just
Right.
go to town and have a fucking out of control garden or whatever and pay people to do shit because I'm too old now. Let's say as I get older, I'd have all the money, but I'd have everybody doing all the work for something that I would way more enjoy living. Oh, here's the thing. Because somebody last night said, oh, this place is really cool. I said, "Yeah, but you know what, man? I don't wanna hang out and get to know all these people." I said, "To be honest, I'd rather have a place where I can hang out with my family all the time. I don't wanna live in a place where I go to back to my little bungalow and I know every neighbor, and then we go to all these little parties and things." I said, "Good for them if they wanna do that. I'm not knocking it, it's just for me,
Right.
I'd rather hang out with my family. I'd rather hang out with you and everybody in the family and see them every weekend, like an Italian family or like a New York Irish family, like, yeah, we're always with the or Jewish families, see them on TV. Everything's a big deal. The Greek families, my Greek wedding, whatever, my big fat Greek wedding movie. I like that. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
even if I had money to burn, I don't want to just live with myself or a husband, partner, whatever, in a little bungalow and live in a retirement community. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just not me, man. And it good for people who wanna do it, I'm not knocking it. Again, it's just I can't do it. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Anyways, that's all. Sorry, that was kind of a tangent, but
That's
that's
okay.
my life.
It's funny. I realized that the last class reunion I went to, and I graduated in 1978, so the last one that I went to, it was in Ukaipa at what
Wasn't it one
used
of
to
the
be.
halls?
It was at the there, remember the restaurant that, okay, so right off the freeway, Live Oak Canyon off ramp, there used to be the
Oh,
bar, and then there used to be a restaurant there, a steakhouse.
Steak Eaters.
Steak, was it Steak Eaters? I don't know.
I don't
But
know.
it
I
it,
swear I thought it was called Steak Eaters.
it was right next to the bar that we played the concert.
Angel's
Help me
Roadhouse.
out. Yes,
Angel's
Angel's
Roadhouse, which was
Roadhouse.
formerly known as the Tenderfoot.
The the Cedar Mill, or no.
Oh, shit, dude.
Steak,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
Cedar
used to
Mill.
be Steak Eaters, and then it was called the Cedar Mill. Fuck, dude. Oh my god,
So
I
I think
forgot
it was
about that.
probably one of the last events that they had before that place got torn down.
Oh, that's right, dude, and we fucking went there because I remember we went there for something, that's right, in, like,
Yeah.
92, 93. We went there
So
for a
we haven't
band thing.
eh, no one's done any class reunions. Whoever was running it
Really?
before, the people who were running it before, they just, I think what's happened to a lot of people, at least I know for my friends from high school, is that with Facebook,
Oh, yeah, of
you're in
course.
contact with people all the time now,
What's the
and you
point?
find out things about each other that you never knew. And in some cases, it's good because it really brings you closer together, and you're like, "Wow, I never knew that about you." And in other cases, you're like, "Oh my god, I never knew that about
Okay,
you." You
yeah.
know? I think that's why nobody is like, "I don't wanna get together with those people."
Okay, well, that's yeah. Okay,
You
there
don't.
that's definitely I've thought of that too. Obviously, it's okay, you can have as many little groups as you want or whatever. We had a mutual friend from my grade or younger. I think she was a little younger than me, and she and her husband, who's now passed, used to have like a little pizza get together. And I never could go because I was always at the gym. Fucking gym. No, I'm kidding. I was always at the gym and I felt bad because it was like it was for all class I think it was for all classes. It was just like a Ukaipa High meetup, and they always went to go and get pizza. And I never went. I feel bummed that I never went, but, I think there was a lot of reasons I didn't go. I think I didn't like the person who I was. I didn't which is sad, like, I had the gym, I was successful, but I just that's always that whole thing about not feeling, I don't look the way I used to or whatever, all this vain shit and stuff. People, thinking, "Oh, people don't like you," or whatever. So I was bummed that, they stopped doing it, but I never went anyway, so, the last well, I we had my 10-year reunion was at the Marriott in La Mirage? No, what do you call it?
Rancho Mirage?
Rancho Mirage. I think is the Marriott in Rancho Mirage, right? Is that where it's at?
I
And,
think so.
we had our prom there. We had one of our proms there. We had my junior year, we had a prom at the top of the tram, the Palm Springs tram. And then the, senior year was at the Marriott, and then our 10-year reunion was at the Marriott, and then the 20-year reunion that you and Mike went with me because he
Yeah,
graduated in '86, but you guys went anyway, that was at the Marriott, and then that was and then yeah, because that was that '96? Yeah, because it was '86. I mean, I'm sorry, God, when did I graduate? '85.
wasn't there one that we went to together that was at, Morongo?
Hongo?
No?
I don't remember. I think you and Mike may have went to that, but I remember
Oh,
we
Mike
went to
and I
the
went with Alan and Linda to that one because it was like a joint so
yes,
many year,
because
multi-year
it
one.
yeah, because I did my '95 and 2005 is when you and Mike went and Jesse, we all went to the 2005, and then I don't know where the 2015 oh, no, the 2015 was at the Ukaipa Country Club, and
Mm,
a friend of mine asked, "Are you gonna go to that?" And I'm like, I don't know, I might." And then I said afterwards when I talked to her later, I said, "How many people showed up?" She was like 30. And I'm all, and then they tried to get something together last year, last
yeah,
August, because that was my 40th year out of high school. And it just fizzled out. I said, "Well, if somebody does something, I'll go." But then nobody
yeah.
did anything. So I
Well,
think
I
you're
think
right. Yeah,
I
go
was
ahead.
mistaken on the Cedar Mill one. I think it maybe that's the one that Mike and I went to probably in 2008 because I remember the Super Freaks were the band,
Oh my God.
and one of the members of that band has a recording studio in Riverside, and Mike and Miranda have done recordings with the guy.
Yeah, they're really
So
good.
we've known the guy for
Yeah,
years
yeah,
on a
yeah.
personal basis. Mike's known him for a long time. And so what happened was their drummer that night had to leave early for something. So they were asking if anyone in the crowd was a drummer.
Nuh-uh. How do
Yeah.
I not remember this story?
So so Mike ended up playing a couple sets, but then David Hosh wanted to get up and play. So Mike didn't, Mike is not the show off type.
Yeah.
So when someone else wants to play, he's like, "Oh,
Oh,
sure,
I
go
thought
ahead,
Mike
do it."
played. Dang.
He played a couple songs, but then it was
Okay.
like, he wanted to sit with me. He didn't wanna be up there playing while I'm
Oh,
sitting by
yeah.
myself at the
That's
table.
because he's such a good guy.
But
Fucking
yeah, I
Mike.
remember that one, and I think that might be the last one I went to. I'm
Okay.
not sure, but,
Well, no, I
um,
was gonna I was gonna say, what you said about people not, oh, you're right, because when people used to go to reunions, it was like, "Hey, how you doing? Let's talk about the good old days. Let's not talk about politics or religion and shit that's
yeah,
happening. What are
yeah,
you doing now?" And you talk about what you're doing now. But you're right, like now you're and I have to say that. Side note, excuse me. I have to admit, I'm that way with everything because I've had a couple of offers from people, and we'll talk about it off because if you want to know, but
yeah,
people who want to get together with you or whatever. And it's like, dude, if I don't have time for my fucking family, why am I going to go out with
mhm,
you and do something, like
yeah,
it's that kind of stuff. I don't, no offense. Like I have some friends but you're my friend, best friend that, if I want to go somewhere, I'd rather go with you. If I have spare time, I want to go visit my mother. Um, I'm
Well,
enjoying
I
spending
think
time with my grandchild. It's not like
yeah,
it's not a chore to be with my grandchild and my kids. I want to enjoy all that time. So it's like I don't want to be mean to people, but look, man, I appreciate the offer, but I it's like I'm just not that into you as a friend. It's nothing
yeah,
against you as a person. I just don't have time in my life for anybody else except my family. I don't care. I'll spend the rest of my life being with my family, and that's fine with me.
yeah. No, I know what you
So,
mean.
I'm a
I
weirdo,
think,
I guess.
that's a big part of it. It is so interesting to think back though on how I uh, in fact, thought about this the other day. We grew up in such a small, close-knit town. Our dad everyone knew who our dad was because he owned the station, and so, everybody there weren't that many gas stations in town, and dad owned one of the only ones. There were only a handful when I was in high
Well,
school
yeah.
anyway.
I've talked
So,
about oh, go ahead.
everybody knew, even the sheriff at CHP, the highway patrol, everyone knew who our dad was because they all went there, the whole town. So,
Well, yeah, in yeah, because there's gas stations in Calamasa and Yucaipa, but
what I'm saying though is there weren't
yeah.
very many choices, so
No.
everyone knew who owned what. Um, and the class difference was we knew we knew the families that were the upper class, and our parents came from very lower class.
Yeah.
We as a family at that time were probably in the middle,
Yeah.
just barely in the middle, like you said. But they were friends with all of those people in the upper class through the clubs that they belonged to, through our dad's business, basically.
Right.
So they knew so many secrets about all those people. And then when mom started working at Redlands Hospital, she knew so many secrets about people.
Yeah,
All
that
the trust secrets, and I just think that's really funny.
well, I was just talking to somebody today, actually. It's so funny that we're talking about this because there was, a name in town. It was somebody who, they had a chain everyone who knows Yucaipa would know this, but it's a chain of nursing homes, and so their claim to fame was their name was on a bunch of these nursing homes.
Mhm.
Later, they also helped, I believe, to build an amusement park that's now not
Gone.
even not even defunct. It's other
It's
buildings are there now.
gone.
And
Yeah.
not that they anything wrong, just what I said, they had a house high on the hill overlooking a park, and everybody knew. We called it the mansion, because there weren't a lot of mansions back then in our
Right,
town.
right.
Because not even we didn't even have houses that aren't considered mansions now are single family two-story homes, but to us back in the day, that would have been a fucking mansion.
Right,
So
right.
and then there was rumor that there was an elevator in it because they had a child that had an issue with
Yep.
a leg or
I
something, and
went to
that's the
school with her. She broke her leg. I
okay.
remember right, she broke her leg skiing or something.
Okay, so yeah. I knew there was a story, but I couldn't really speak to it because I didn't know. Anyway, it's just that kind of funny stuff where our dad and mom, we go to the junior chamber of commerce, was called the JC's, and all the names in town. There was a realtor that had a name. There was the nursing home people that had a name. People who owned businesses up in Oak Glen that had a big name. One was actually, I believe, in the government of one of those Oak Glen ownerships that had a name. And so, yeah, we knew all these people. We're talking about people that one guy, was saying hi to everybody while he was speedboating around when we went to, Lake Mojave, and somehow he miscalculated the beach and ran his boat on shore a significant way to where people had to get kids out of the way.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, there were and then there was some, I don't wanna say wife swapping, but there might have been, but there was some stuff we found out later as adults. There might have been some of
Some
that,
hanky
interesting some
panky.
hanky panky going on, some divorces and remarriages with other people and shit. Um,
That
yeah,
that
so
happened in my own in just in my own class. The people, um, that I was in high school with, not just in my class of '78, but, like, from between this year and this
oh,
year
yeah, there's some in
that
my
that
class too.
married that had married certain people, and oh, yeah, you guys have a few too, you and Mike, that had married certain people. They were all had been friends in high school,
Right, right.
and then a few years later, they're divorced and married to the other people, and it's
Yeah.
like it's
Which,
like
by
passing
the
around their
way,
spouses.
I'm not gonna judge. I've been married
No,
twice. You're on your 3rd marriage. I
yeah, I'm
used to
not
date
judging.
your I used to date your husband. Who am I to judge?
Small
And
town, it's a small
I
town.
I'm not gonna lie, when I've had relations with men and women from this town that people will think, "Ooh, I've got her there." It's like, bring it on because I admit it, I've done some couple shit too. So I don't have skeletons, like, whatever. It's 20 years ago, that might have been like, "Ooh, I don't want anybody to know about it." It's like, "Whatever, dude." That's not even a thing anymore. It's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
really? That happened?" I think my mom would be the only one who'd be like, "Ooh, God, I don't want anybody to know my kid did that. I don't
Why
wanna
did you
talk
say
about it." But, you know,
Yeah, no
it
judgment.
doesn't
I
matter.
it's funny to me
Yeah,
because it's so stereotypical of a small town,
exactly, yeah.
and so it's like, if anyone says, "Oh, that stuff doesn't really happen," I'm like, "Oh, well, let me tell you,
Anyone
yes, it
who's lived in a
does."
small town knows that shit, in fact, does
Yeah.
happen.
Oh, yeah.
And, because it's funny how people only attribute shit though to happening like Hollywood and rich people, and they do all this and they get married a billion times. And I'm like, you mother lovers who say that crap, who are total rednecks, I hear that coming to your redneck mouth. And you come from a place that absolutely does that shit. And now I'm sorry, but with DNA, they're all shaking in their boots because they're finding out that, "Oh,
Right,
shit, that
right,
thing that I did that was a secret is no longer a secret." And again, sorry, no judgment, but it to me, it's if somebody innocently did something and it comes out later, that's one thing. It's people who bark about it, just like the preachers who bark about how being a homosexual
yeah,
is terrible, and then find out they had a homosexual experience in their own right, or has an or is contacting OnlyFans or whatever the shit is.
right,
That's what I this the hypocrisy. That's
yeah,
why we make fun of it, because it's the people who vote for this, but then you find out in their little skeletons they did all this shit, and it's like, I'm a good
right,
Christian person, yet you were having relations like the rest of us outside of marriage, or swinging,
right,
or having homosexual experiences, and they'd be first in line to chastise me about all my experiences in all of those areas, but yet they probably do too, and they just haven't got caught yet. That's what I have a problem with, and that's why I judge. That's why I judge the hillbilly kind of type people, where you can take the hillbilly out of Ukaipa, but you can't take the Ukaipa out of that hillbilly. I don't care how much money
yeah,
you have. I don't care where you moved to, or if you stayed in town,
yeah,
you stayed in town and moved it to a higher tax bracket. I see you. I see you driving down the street. I see you coming into the gym we used to have. I see you, and you open your mouth and Ukaipa falls out, and you can't stop that from happening.
right. It's
You
true.
can't stop that from happening.
Nope, nope, you can't.
I think there's a couple people in our family who managed to do pretty good getting out of it, though. There's a few
As far
people that managed to run from
as
Ukaipa and really try to
make
shake it off.
make something of themselves,
Hey, we've made something of ourselves.
I
We're doing
guess.
great. I know, I joke about it, but you know what? There's a lot of good people in our town. It's a small town. There's a lot of good people in our town. I'm not shitting on the whole town, just the people who have made it difficult. And you got two camps. You got the camp that are our age, from boomer to your whatever the middle
Oh,
Johnson, whatever we called it was, to the
Jones or
Gen
whatever.
so yeah, the Jones, to the Gen Xers. It's like I feel like those kind of, that era, want to keep things the same way. And it's like, yeah, I don't like seeing the new car wash down on Live Oak Canyon Road next a little bit away from the block, or they put a new stoplight in, even though I know it's safe for the kids or it's safe for elderly people or whoever that stoplight and that crosswalk is safe for. Yeah, it's irritating, but you know what? Progress is progress, man. You got to get on with it. I don't like them breaking up the views either, but towns grow. What are you going to do? Keep moving to the hills, bitch. Move to the hills. Move to the desert. There's plenty of room out in the fucking middle of Rice Road. Build yourself a
It's
goddamn.
true.
Why don't you build a mall? We used to talk about that. Build a mall style village and y'all can have air conditioning nonstop and y'all. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's kind of
Forgot
communism.
about
That's
it. That's
socialism where
socialism.
you're all doing your own death. Aren't gated communities one step away from socialism
Right?
or
Especially
retirement homes?
especially especially with their HOA and all that,
That's what I'm saying. Like that place I went to, the Indio Polo Club thing,
right?
that's one step away from freaking socialism. You're all you're keeping that shit all going. You're gated. You know, you got your little guard shack, you got your bungalows, and then you got all the shit in the middle. It's like, isn't that a form of socialism anyway? Yet a lot of them are
It's like
Republican.
it's like communal living. It's a
That's what
commune,
I'm saying.
a wealthy commune.
But a wealthy commune is not socialism.
No, it's not,
They have all these goddamn rules though, curfew at 8:30 and shit for noise level.
right? So, that's the thing. It's certainly not freedom in my opinion.
Well, and I was gonna mention too, we were talking earlier about the golf carts. We have a golf course. Now, I don't know, when did they build that? In the late 90s? I wanna
I
say it was
think
the late
so.
90s, early 2000s. We had a bunch of orange groves. The high school was surrounded by orange groves. There was a water tower. We used to always laugh because you hear songs like country songs about the water tower. And John Deere Green. That's a song, I don't know if you know, but anyway, we everybody would always paint the year, so whatever the class was, the year, 85, it was on the water tower in the middle of the orange groves. Well, when they made a development called Chapman Heights and they took all the orange groves out, everybody was pissed off, even though the oranges were rotting on the ground. They were no
Right.
longer really harvesting them, and so the people who owned the said groves sold it to a development company, but everybody was losing their shit that we're
Yeah.
putting this community. And you know what? When they first built it, yes, it's the boxy houses where you could draw a clothing line from one window to the other, like a New York City apartment. Yes. And it was kind of disturbing. But now that the trees are grown, see, that's the thing. It's like you gotta wait and be patient because
Right.
it is a beautiful community. The
It
trees
is.
are mature and in the fall, the spring, everything. It's just gorgeous. Well, they also put a golf course. And people just, they've had their golf carts and running around, but I don't know what it is lately. I've seen more of them than ever. I don't know what it is. And I don't have a problem per se. You want to drive your golf cart around, I don't care. As long as you're not in my way or you're hurting somebody. But these mother lovers were sitting in the back of it facing outward and they had kids in the back. And this kid was not, I don't think there's seatbelts in him.
Seatbelts.
We're
Yeah.
talking a 3 or 4-year-old that's supposed to be in a car seat. You're on the fucking boulevard going to Vaughn's. Like they're going to Vaughn's, not like
Oh,
they're on the boulevard just cutting around one corner, whatever it is. And these people were holding on to a 3-year-old facing the back, like they're sitting in the back facing, and I'm all, how fucking stupid do you have to be? One tiny little fender bender. You think you could hold on to a kid, but in a fender
yeah.
bender, you're either both dead or that kid's dead or what. And I was just like, that kind of shit floors me that people just think, I have this golf cart and we just came off the golf course, darling, and we're going to drive it around the town and look at us. It's all about a spectacle. You're driving that golf cart for an experience. And so everyone could look at you and your kids could look at everybody else looking at you that you're in a fucking golf cart. You're in a golf cart
Yay!
driving to
You're
Bonds.
so
Oh,
unique and special.
that kind of shit just, I'm sorry. You could think I'm bitter or whatever. I'm not because I like my life. I have a
Yeah,
crazy life, but
en
I have
en
a fulfilled life.
entitlement is a frustrating, ugly thing.
It's so
You know,
ugly.
when you feel entitled to break laws, or you feel entitled to more than another person for some reason, or a better seat than another person, or whatever
Yeah.
it is, that's just such an ugly thing to me.
Oh my Cheryl. Oh my god, you just reminded me. You reminded me of
What?
another great story about it.
Okay.
Entitled. See, sorry, these are the lungs. I got the smoker's cough, but I don't smoke, but that's what it feels like. I've constantly got this little cough going. So,
Sorry.
no, no. So, I was going to the theater and I was going around because now I don't know if you remember when you used to park in the underground over by the mall, you would
Yeah.
pull into where the entrance to where you go the mall and stuff on the I think that's Avenue G or whatever, or 4th
Yeah.
Street. Well, now you go to the Avenue E side to go into the parking structure if you I mean, that's because there's a sidewalk. Now, I think in my mind, the sidewalk, it's like if you push the button, the lights flash to stop because there's a sidewalk, but I'm 99.9% sure that that is an actual traffic light with red, yellow, green. For whatever reason, I'm cruising in front of the theater, getting ready to go to E Street to turn right, and there's the crosswalk, and there's these old people. They're probably between your age and mom's age kind of thing, so and it's a couple, and there's a lady in front of me or somebody in front of me, and they go over the crosswalk, and I see the couple in the crosswalk, like, they're trying to go, and they look give that lady a dirty look. It was green or it wasn't flashing, so whatever the light system is,
Mhm.
it was okay for cars to go. You're not required to stop because they didn't push the fucking button. And that lady gave everybody a dirty look like, "What? You're not stopping for us?" And she kept following their car. And then by this like because when I got up there, she did the same thing to me, like looked at me, gave me a dirty look. And I was just it's that kind of like either you just think I'm a pedestrian, I have the right of way, or do you not know the rules of the road? Do you not get that there's a button? You don't think you have to so there's so many things that are that in my mind that that's such a loaded thing, like, there's so many things that these people could be thinking, and I just it amazes me. It just amazes me that, like you said, entitlement or whatever it is, they just don't think. Ugh, that could be saved for another episode of Old People Suck.
Yes. And the older they get, the more they think they're entitled.
Oh god. I try really hard not to do that when I go places. I don't wanna complain about food or anything else. I don't wanna be
Mm.
that old person.
I know. That person who, has to have everything specialized.
Yeah.
The menu is the menu, but they've gotta switch. "Can I have this instead of that? Oh, and I'd like this cooked like this, and I don't like such and such, so leave it off my plate, blah, 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 blah. And can you bring these separate? Because I really don't want 'em mixed together. Put it on the side."
Which,
It's like
hey
this that they go
yeah.
through, and then if they bring it back and they're like, "All of my silverware is, like, water stained. Can you please bring me some clean ones?" Or,
Water stain.
you
Oops,
know,
sorry, bumps.
just it's like these people that and I okay, if you have something wrong with your food,
That's fine,
of course, say
but don't be
something and
extra. Don't be
or
extra.
or if you got the wrong order, but the lengths some people go to and there are people I've spent many meals with
Yes.
that do this every single time.
Like it's a game.
Something's always wrong, or something's always they always need something extra.
Sorry,
And I
boba.
I don't know. I guess maybe I'm the opposite and we were raised that way. We were
Yeah.
raised. In fact, I know that that's the problem that I have because somebody will bring me the wrong thing and like Michael say, "That's not what you ordered." I said, "Shh, just don't worry about it.
I'll just
I'll
eat
just
it,
eat
bitch.
I'll just eat it." You know, we were raised that way.
Right. Well,
And I
because
think
we don't oh, sorry, go ahead.
part of that comes from, I believe, being in such an economic status that you never know where your next meal's coming from or
Yes.
how you're going to
Yes.
make ends meet next month. You do not. complain about anything that you have, you appreciate everything that you have. You
Exactly.
know, I really think that's what that's about, and it's
Yep.
ingrained, enculturated into our way of living.
Well, not
But other
only us.
people grow up the opposite. Other people grow up, you gotta grab what you want, and don't
Oh,
let anybody
yeah.
take from you, and don't let anybody fool
So
you,
they
you know,
so they're in the same socioeconomic class we were, but they were taught opposite, like,
or
get
not.
everything or
But,
not. You think
you
some of
know,
the higher ups did that even though they had money, they wanted more money?
I think,
I mean, both could be true because you could have people that was in our same class, our same tax bracket, and our parents taught us to be humble and just take what you need, where other people in our same tax bracket, like you said, are bitter that they're not in a higher tax bracket, so try to take advantage of everything they can. That's what
I
I
think
got from what you just said.
I think what I meant to say, or what I believe is that some people are raised to believe that, if I say it's gotta be done this way, it's gotta be done that way. There's no, you know, and if you make a mistake, I'm gonna call you on it and you damn well better fix it right then and
Right.
there. It's the attitude. I'm not talking about if there's a class difference necessarily.
Oh,
What
okay.
I'm saying is, I know for us, the reason that I react the way I do is because that's instilled in me, you
I
know.
see, I see, I
Other
see.
people, it might be, they could be in the same economic class or a different one, but the point is, were they raised to believe that, you know, if you're in a service industry, you're serving me, and therefore it better be perfect because I'm paying you to make it perfect. And you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's no um there's no thought of, wow, this person may have had a hard day and just made a mistake. I'm not
Yeah,
going to make a big deal about it.
yeah.
Where some people make a big deal about it because they want to stay in power. They want to show, that no one's going to run over them, by God. You're not going to fool me, you know.
We know just who we're talking about. Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that sort of way of being, it's not that one's right or one's wrong. I'm just saying that
Right.
definitely affects, um and it affects too on how other people see you,
Yeah.
you know? My battery's dying. Hold on a second.
No.
Because, you can imagine if you're the waitress in a situation like that, and you're super busy, and you've got, all these people to serve at this table, and everybody's talking and laughing and not listening to you, and you finally get their order, and then you get something slightly wrong, or you give somebody the wrong food plate or whatever. I didn't order that, she did. That kind of attitude. That's why, I mean, being in the service industry is the best training ground for any job.
I swear. I dabbled in it. I did a hot dog on a stick and then worked at the donut shop. I worked at the cafeteria at RCC for a while. So yeah, that kind of helped me. And then, but just as soon as I started teaching kids, I knew that was my calling. And
Yeah.
I'm still working with kids. It's kids all day long, fucking kids in the morning, then my
But
granddaughter, and then kids at night. I mean,
but
I love it. I
and
do,
that's
but
what I do them. Because
huh?
teaching kids, especially in a privileged type of activity like
Oh,
gymnastics,
yeah.
you're teaching kids in something that they don't have the right to do. Their parents are paying for, uh, the
It's a
privileges
luxury
of it.
business. It's a
It's a
luxury
luxury
business.
business. So you
Yeah.
have to cater to, in some ways, to those parents as a service
Uh-huh.
person, and you have to sometimes endure them complaining to you or criticizing you, or, I mean, one of these days
Yeah.
we get into that, the subject of our gym,
Oh
talk
god,
about
yeah.
that
It's gonna
stuff.
take some time.
Yeah, but,
Plus
you
I'm
know,
still heavy in it, so
I know.
we could do a tame version and then later we'll do
Yeah.
a wild version. But
Well, I mean, there's
anyway, I
nothing
just
nothing wrong
that
with calling
huh?
out calling out people for their ridiculous behavior.
Yeah, I don't like I said, I don't want everyone to hurt feelings. I don't I that's like with the school I work at with right now. There's things that I observe that good God, I'd love to tell everybody about. And not because they're shitty people. It's just the things that they do. I'm like, there's some things you want to talk about, and
Right.
you can't because I still have to work there. Unless this podcast takes off, or maybe I finally become a stand-up comedian and make money and billions of dollars for all of us, then I
Right.
could talk shit on everybody, and that's how I'll make a living, and then we'll all be good. But until then, I have to work with these people.
Well, I can tell you some stories though. I mean, I can bring some stuff up
No, I know
as
that's
as a
true. That's
sample.
true.
Now, and this was years and years and years ago. That there's a whole bunch of stories that I have,
Oh
but
God,
I'll tell you this one
dude, we have
first.
40 years with the stories.
Oh, I know. I remember, um, and it was the first big gym that we had, and we had open gym. I think it was an open gym, and viewers, an open gym is where we have staff there or we're there, and
It's like a lifeguard.
people can pay a certain amount to just come and play on the equipment, practice their skills, whatever, and then we have supervisors. So yeah, it is. It's like a community pool with a lifeguard. Um, so our rule though was you had to sign as a parent, you had to sign a waiver, a liability waiver if you're not a gym member. If you're a gym member, we already have that liability waiver. So I remember this one woman came in with her child, um, and the child's friend, and the friend, I said, she's got to have this waiver signed. Do you remember that?
Well, I
Do you remember?
remember another incident that's similar to
And
that, but yes.
and she wanted me to step outside because I was not allowing
Oh,
the child to come
no, see
into the gym.
how I
Eh,
remember it is we had classes and that girl sat there for the whole class. And then when the mom came back, we said, well, she sat because you left and you didn't, we can't have her, we couldn't get a hold of you, but she couldn't do class because she wasn't
oh,
signed and the parent got,
I'm
that's
getting
what I
2
remember. I could be wrong.
I'm getting 2 events mixed up. I
Okay, but
remember that
similar.
one, and that was the one that where she wanted me to go outside, or she followed me out the door or
She
something,
followed you
and
out the
she
door
was
and I
gonna
hopped over
she
that
was gonna
desk real quick.
she followed me out the door. What was I doing? Why was I going out the
No, no.
door? Was I leaving or
Cause I was behind the desk and, she was being all bitchy to you and yelling at you. You had to leave. I don't know, was it maybe something for the kids or the job? For whatever reason, you were leaving for that time anyway. And
okay.
you went out and she followed you. And I jumped across that desk and I opened the door and I looked at the lady and she was going to follow you to the parking lot. She turned
Oh,
around and
yeah.
looks at me and I gave her a look like, and do it. Fucking try me, bitch. And then
'Cause she
she
was
just
screaming at me and calling me names, and
oh, yeah.
I
All
remember that.
because we wouldn't let her daughter's friend join and we made her sit for an hour because we could because you dropped her off without any
Without
documentation
signing
and
anything,
fucking
yeah.
left. Yeah, that's the
But
tip of that's like the
oh, that's the tip of
flag.
the ice.
That's like the
Hey,
flag on the top of an iceberg of shit that we dealt with, the size of fucking San Gorgonio.
I remember too at the big gym, um, one of the parents we had, one of the boys who was on our boys competitive team.
Yeah.
He was a sassy mouth little thing.
He was a little asshole.
Dude, he was awful. Anyway,
He was a
he had
baby
missed
too.
he was such a baby. He had missed out on so many practices. It was like weeks of practices that he missed. And I had already told them, we had just had a parent meeting, when we're coming up on competition season, you have to that child has to be conditioned. They've got to be able to get through the whole routine without a spot, without help, because we're not going to take them to competition and do the whole routine for them with our hands, you know.
Exactly.
And I said, and they've got to be conditioned. They've got to be
Oh,
able to do it. They've got to have
can I
stamina.
interject? Can I interject?
Yes.
This is also a parent among many parents who pushed for their kid to be at the higher level. And we said,
Yes.
he's barely ready. Why don't you stay down a level so he could be
Right.
more successful? But that bitch wanted her son to be at the higher
Oh, yeah.
level. Now
Oh,
he's
yeah.
at the bottom of the next level.
Right.
Anyway, but
When they show up after weeks of not being there at all, he shows up for the practice right before the deadline to enter the meet, and she I tell her, or I tell the desk people, he's not competing, so don't take her check for the competition. He's not going to compete. And so when that happened, of course, huge altercation begins. So I had to go and talk to her about why. And I said, he doesn't know the routine. He doesn't even know it by heart, let alone can he even physically do it by
right.
himself. And he hasn't been here to practice. So why should I break all my gym rules for him right now? And she says, well, you're just a bitch.
Oh God.
And I said, you know what? This is a place of business, and you don't have a right to bring your son here. I don't have to allow him to be here at all. She says, oh, really? You think so? Well, she's just going off on me. And I turned to the office manager and I said, will you please write her a check for the month? And we're done. Write her a check, a refund check for
That's
the
so
month.
good.
And so I handed her this check that covered everything she had paid for the last month. And I said, I don't ever want to see you or your son in this gym again.
Oh
Goodbye.
my God.
She just cussed me out all the way out the door.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about when I say people who feel entitled.
Yeah.
It's like, you are not entitled to come into my business and treat me or my staff like shit and think
Yeah.
I'm not going to say you're done.
Can I
So,
say that how that ties into what we're talking about, kind of like a class system, where we're in a small town. That
yeah,
building we were in, we went from small town to our first building and then joined forces with another person to make a three-way partnership to a big 10,000 square foot facility. We were all excited about it, blah, blah, blah. But, it doesn't matter. The parents are still the same.
yeah.
And it's not that so much that it affected us, but it's that kind of, it's like we were new to all that. And we felt on top of the world, yet at the same time, we still felt like that small town person. And when we have those moments where we felt like, no, we want kindness in our gym and we want people that are going to work hard or whatever. And we made a lot of mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes and we dicked some people over but trying to make a win-win. We didn't do it to be mean per se, but we did do some stuff that's questionable. I'll admit it. But for the most part, like, you know, we had the prestige. We were prestige, but we still didn't live prestige. You know what I mean? Like we were in a position where people thought that, oh my God, they're making all this money from this gym. They had no idea how hard it
We
was and
barely
how much
survived, and
that we barely
sometimes,
survived and had to take out loans. And
yeah,
it's great. That's the thing, man. It's that whole don't judge a
yeah.
book by its cover. I mean, that is such always going to be the best analogy because people
Well, I
saw
think
us
I
and,
think too part of our problem was just the imposter syndrome, heavy imposter syndrome,
oh
where
yeah,
we did not believe in ourselves
no.
or believe in our abilities enough to feel like we really deserved to be where we were. And, that's
Which
part of growth. I
which
mean,
side
we needed more growth.
right. Which side note, it's so funny because when anybody sees us from our past, we're always like, "Oh my god, they probably hate us because we bounced checks to them or, we did some dirty shit like making our office person deal with the people we owed money to." All the things and we didn't do it to be dicks. We just fucked up. We fucked up. We didn't know
We
what
were
we
not
were doing and we
emotionally.
fucked up. It was an
Yeah,
innocent fuck up.
yeah,
Um and I see these people and they act like, "Oh my God, we're the best thing." Well, we've already talked about this. I won't mention names, but one of our former coaches brings her child to the gym the gym I work at now, which is the former gym that we used to own, blah, blah, blah. So she always gives me a hug and is so gracious. And you guys did so
yeah,
good. She always praises us. And I'm like, what?
yeah.
I don't remember that when you were here. You know, like I joke with her a lot, but it's I think about I know we bounced checks probably to her too, and then she was upset because she'd worked really hard on Saturdays, and we had a coach that was having some problems, and we wouldn't fire her, and we went round and round, and in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, and now this girl, this former coach that was a great coach, is now a teacher. That
Yeah.
makes me feel so good, and she's
Well,
praising us.
that
She forgave us for everything that
I
we did
know.
shitty.
And
She
that's when we do talk about the gym, which we need to do that soon, but we'll not talk about this. We'll talk about the wins.
I know,
We're
it's like we're
we'll
such
talk about the
cynical, fucking
wins.
crotchety bitches now.
You are, but that's why grandma's not right
I
because
know. Damn it, grandma, get it together. Talk about some
that's
positive shit
right.
for once.
That's right.
Uh,
Um, all right. Well, on that note, um,
I don't know what we talked about or what
I
you know what?
went
I
around in
didn't even get
circles.
to my donkey basketball part.
Oh, you know what?
I
Let's
know you're
save that
intrigued.
because
I know
I
you're
I
intrigued.
let's save that.
Okay.
Well, that's about all we have for tonight. It was kind of
That's
a
it.
weird all over the place one, but
Yeah. Hey, by the way, good on a good note, this
yeah.
Friday was my daughter, my granddaughter's last ballet night. She's quitting ballet. I know it's sad, but
Okay.
ballet's not for everyone who's like
No,
me that's like "Da dee ba da goo goo goo
when
goo
you
goo."
want the whole stage to yourself and the spotlight and everything, sometimes unless you're a prima ballerina,
No.
i-
You were the
it's a little
ballerina. I was
touchy.
definitely more of the jazz dancer and you were the ballerina. That is patience I did not fucking have. So anyway, but my point was that I'll have more time because now I don't have to rush to get her to ballet and rush to get back here. So she can help me set up for my podcast. She'd probably be excited. So,
All right. Sounds good. Okay,
all
well,
right,
thanks for
sis.
joining us and
Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Like, subscribe, pass it on. Even if you think this is shit, pass it on to your enemies. Pass it on
Or
to your frenemies.
and comment if you think it's terrible, comment, tell
How
us
do
and
we
tell us
grow
why.
without
Yep.
comments?
Yeah, that's true. Um, anyway, all right. Well, thank you, everyone, and
Thanks,
enjoy the
everybody.
rest of your week. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.